knockout, another best of 5 as well. Surely Vitality the favorites, but Singularity, they're the sort of team that can be chaotic and they can surprise Vitality here.
I mean, these guys never play against each other either, whether it's because Singularity, as I've said, and I really am not putting them down at all, I'm being realistic, they don't get to this point very frequently. That's just not... This is a big upshoot for them. This is potentially an overperformance for them, but they're here to prove to us that they can still hang out at this level. The last time Singularity played Vitality was back in winter of the previous season, back in RLCS X. It is a very, very long time ago, back in that first regional, and Vitality took it 3-1. Vitality hoping to take it here again, but Singularity, can they hang with the biggest teams in Europe?
Well, I've been having a good time looking at Singularity's Twitter in recent times. Chippy tweeted out that he has been waiting 10 months for this moment. The last RLCS that he and Just Us, his longtime partner, have managed to qualify for was back in RLCS X Spring Regional 2, back in March, and that's led them to here. And the passion that you see from them as Just Us just about misses that one. It's just clear for all to see. You know, increasingly teams are putting out these clips of them qualifying. It was a very loud and proud one from Singularity when they made it.
The passion from any team when they get into the RLCS is something that we just adore seeing. It's a passionate game, and it is a 3-man effort to open the scoring. Vitality passing between themselves. VIT taking his time, faking out Chippy. The pass from the sidewall from Alpha to K-Dot. Missiles abound.
It's a shame there for Fairy Peak that his name is not going to be involved officially in that goal, because it was his little feint just before he was challenged by the Singularity player that really opened that one up. And that could be 2, actually. Is that sailing all the way in? It is. It's 2-0.
K-Dot spying that open net at the back means that he's able to just send it over the top, the final defender rather. Polar, a slight bit too far forwards, commits into that flip, but he has no chance of reaching it. 2-0 early doors for Vitality. However, we did see yesterday when Vitality were playing, they had the early lead versus K-Corp. They went 2-0 up. K-Corp ended up bringing it back with the 4-2 in that first game, but this time, 3 and off the kickoff.
Oh, that's bad luck hitting Just Us there, and Fairy Peak does get his name on the scoreboard in the end. Singularity, they actually had a really good day yesterday. They got to the lower round 1 through the group stages, and they beat Misfits Gaming in a Game 5. It's a massive, massive result, which you may not have seen it in this opening 60 seconds, but show that they are an incredibly good team to be able to even take Misfits 2-5, let alone beat them there. And as that series went on, they just slowed things down, shored things up after starting a little bit scrappily and chasily. So they do have it in them to improve as it goes along, and they're definitely going to have to so far because Vitality are running rings.
French Bulldogs right now, just seeing Vitality get up in the faces of Singularity and be full aggression. I spoke to Fairy Peak pretty recently for Thing, and he was saying that there's a new playstyle that Vitality are going to be looking at. They want to be more aggressive. They saw how the rest of Europe ultimately was playing through the fall major. It was getting up in the faces of every other team and giving them no space whatsoever. And what are Vitality now doing? They are attempting to copy that playstyle, and they are trying... Go on.
Look at Fairy go there. I mean, he's normally so solid. He was going for bumps. He was going for demos in front of the ball, just lingering in that final third of the pitch. And it really is making it difficult for Singularity to defend against them as Alpha lines up a big old pinch, wraps its way around the map. Just trying to slow things down for Singularity as Just Us, which is what I want to see. Just give them some time on the ball to grow into this series, because, I mean, this first game's got away from them already pretty much. They just have to build their way into things.
I mean, I think it comes down to as well, Vitality, as soon as there's an opening, can they cover that hole up and make it so that Singularity can't take advantage of it? Polar with a double tap because he could means that now Fairy Peak can move in past it central, but Alpha not quite on that same wavelength, just a touch behind. 4 goals in this opening game so far for Vitality as an awesome beginning, considering how shaky they have looked, and they were given a huge lifeline by Navi's internet problems.
Yeah, I mean, they scraped their way through the group stages, did Vitality. But you have to take those lifelines. And Vitality have the experience to know that when you get an opportunity like this, you have to be able to take it. There's always the next day and always the next series. And, looking like they are back to a formidable foe as Chippy tries to get over the top of the Vitality defense. Doesn't quite work out there. There's a great pass into the center. More decent defending from Vitality on the goal line, but just a sign of what Singularity can actually do.
Yeah, 100%. I think Singularity are now growing into this game a bit more. The 3 goals came in very quickly. Alpha trying to go for the 5th. K-Dop there couldn't quite secure it. Instead, the assist goes on the scoreboard and Fairy Peak with a goal of its own.
K-Dop couldn't let poor old Alpha get on the score sheet. So far, Alpha, the only Vitality player not to do it, as K-Dop has got a hat-trick, and now Fairy Peak's got his 2nd as well. And Vitality, they look like they're enjoying themselves out there, which is very important for them, because I don't know about you, Stumpy, but I've not got the impression that they've been loving their Rocket League in recent times. You know, you look at their body language at the full major when some things went wrong, and there's always these questions over them. Seeing them not only score 5 goals against Singularity, but you know, saving their teammates' shots, silly things like that, having a laugh about it is, I think, just as important for them as grinding ranks and grinding the training packs.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, the having fun meta was clearly working at the full major as well. NRG, when people were saying they gave up. I appreciate NRG also said, you know, we'd given up. But they then started to have fun. The fact that that is what then brought them back into the series is something that I think these teams need to look at and something that they're going to need to bring into their own gameplay. An opening goal for Singularity, just as very easily outspeeding K-Dop, coming from a sedentary position. Alpha, nice little save, but going central, it only falls to Chippy.
Yeah, Justus gets a lot of goals from that 3rd man position, just arriving late, putting in a bullet shot, which has worked out there, but didn't quite lead to a goal for him. But Chippy, one of the more mechanical players on the Singularity team, was on hand to boom it away. And it sounds silly, but that goal could do a lot of good for them, you know, just to remind them that they are the opponents of Vitality here. They are capable of laying a glove on them, even if this first game is done. The edgeable bump there from Alpha 54. He's finally on the score sheet, and he's made it happen himself.
That may well be the most generous air dribble bump I've ever heard in my life. He hits it up. He gently doinks it and then taps the keeper. It's enough, don't get me wrong. And 1 goal away from the Brazil.
Will say that was an air dribble bump, my friend. It's already being etched into stone. I'm looking at the stone etcher right now, and he's looking at me. He's giving me a thumb up. It was indeed an air dribble bump. That was an air dribble bump too.
You are so fundamentally wrong in life. Alpha 54 getting another goal for himself. That's 2 in very quick succession. The fact that pops out behind Just Us leaves Vitality walking away with less than a minute, and already the Brazil. A Brazil that we don't get to see very often in the RLCS nowadays, especially on the day before Championship Sunday.
Well, will there be any more goal attempts from Vitality, or will they settle for the 7-1? I'm more of a score an 8th goal kind of fella myself. What are you?
I'm more of a probably forfeit at this point for the meme, and then my teammates all do it as well.
And you're like, no, don't actually do it. And then they do, and then
one of them.
Probably wasn't worth it, was it? Because now you just lost points and no one really cares.
I'm going to lose them anyway, that's the thing. Singularity, though, looking like they've lost this game. With 6 goals to come back, it's literally impossible. I want to know what Singularity's plan is going forward. Alpha, with that 8th goal, catches it beautifully onto the flip reset and an actual air dribble.
Just like me, Alpha, he is a score an 8th goal kind of fella too. That was beautiful, a flip reset to an air dribble. Nice little quick fire passes as well from Vitality, as they just continue to have so much of the ball. How many shots have they had in total? It is 5, plus 7 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Quick maths, by the way. 15 shots. That's really harsh. It was. 15 shots for Vitality. You've hurt my feelings there, Stumpy.
Good. It's a really bad start for Singularity. As much as we want to be talking up Vitality, we have done a good job of keeping that pressure and not letting the ball die now either. Trying to go for a couple of bumps too. Potentially one more, not quite. I'd be at a loss if I was on Singularity, trying to think of a good thing that came from that game. But that is why Singularity are in this position and I'm not. Lower round 2 is a time where they've already secured themselves a lot of points, but they want to go through to those lower quarterfinals. Vitality, I honestly have nothing but good things to say about them. I think that was just a really good performance. They've learned from their mistakes that they showed at the full major, from going through yesterday as well. This aggression is something that Europe is certainly pioneering and giving zero space, and Vitality are absolutely reaping the rewards.
The good thing that you can say for Team Singularity is that it was only game 1. Who cares? You lost game 1, you got smashed. What are you going to do? You take it to game 2, you play a proper game, and just completely forget it ever happened. So that is the positive that they can take. They can also look back at yesterday's results. I was having a little scan through just now, and you know they put 0-0 Nation, their real challenger in Group A, to qualify. They beat them fairly comfortably. It was 3-0. Right? Even against Team BDS, they managed to get themselves a game for a start, and in the last 2 games, they scored 6 goals. So this is a team who can come up against a team as good as Vitality and very much make them struggle, make them panic, make them rush. And Vitality in defense, they can be rushed. So Singularity, show us what you're made of. Let's have a proper game this time.
It's something that Vitality, I think, that is something they definitely fall prey to, is a couple of good shots come on target and suddenly their composure that they can show glimpses of, that they have been showing glimpses of in this series so far, certainly, it will then start to crumble quite quickly. It's on both Vitality to hold it together and for Singularity to not be able to threaten them in that regard. And it's also on Singularity to make sure they are threatening. Alpha with the first goal, though, on the scoreboard. Forbidden Temple is opening for the Frenchman.
It's just Alpha refusing to back out there. He knew that he could get the challenge, and he also knew that he could get that read off the ceiling fast on the Singularity defense to give Vitality a very early lead in game number 2. Literally the last thing that Singularity wanted. Can they do something slightly more about it in this game? It's a decent kickoff for them. Chippy's going to get some control. But not quite the dunk on Alpha. He goes to the sky. He's got the air dribble here. Justice is trying to block it, and fair play to him does get in the way. And it's a better start than game 1 for Singularity.
Yeah, hoping to see personally on my part is show more speed. I don't think you can play slower against the team that are playing fast. I think you just need to match their pace. I think, again, we learned that at the Fall Major.
Very lovely.
Outstanding pass completely across the field, switching the angle of play and scoring on that wide open backside of Vitality.
Just us with the precise finish from the Polar pass. Polar, who actually retired from competitive Rocket League back in March. And then a couple of months later tweeted, took 2 months to say LFT lol.
That's a good tweet.
So he's back. But I mean, he came to prominence with Stormtroopers, apparently Jack. So clearly someone that apparently Jack believed in to bring him to the top. So that means I trust him too.
Very fair. It's a good start as well, ultimately, for Singularity in this second game. The Vitality working that press yet again. Keda potentially to get it central. Only Alpha is up in time, but Justice, brilliant block. Manages to read the angle Alpha wanted to punt the ball at. With Caleb going central, Chippy is there to receive it. A poor touch leaves it to Fairy Pig, who goes high. Justice again in defense, trying to hold down the fort as best he can.
Yeah, they're showing a lot more solidity, our Singularity, and these touches from defense are so good for them. It's just us showing the freestyle skills, trying to get a flip reset over the top of the Vitality defense. Not quite worked, but it has bought them a lot of territory, and now demos are flying in. The ball is being beaten. They're beating Vitality to the ball, our Singularity as well. They have indeed stepped up the pace, Stumpy, which is exactly what you wanted from them.
Yeah, and getting those demos involved too is going to be huge for them. Cut out the final man, and you've got an open net to score on at the back. It's how they got their previous goal. You can probably double up on it realistically, especially when Vitality are trying to go for those demos too. Maybe catch them like horses with blinkers on.
Chippy's going to take that one to the ceiling, is he? I thought he was following it himself. I think he wanted the ball to bounce off a little bit quicker, but more good pace from Singularity in the air. They do seem to be beating Vitality to the ball a lot more than they were before, and Alpha's solo plays a lot less effective than before as well. Maybe Singularity just defending that little bit deeper so Vitality can come to them and the ball doesn't go straight above their heads, which is one of the big mistakes they were making in game 1 as Fairy Peak almost diverts that one goal. K-Dot rolls back the years to smash it top right corner.
That's a very clever shot from Fairy Pig. Ends up backflipping just to force the 50 instead, and then bumps Polar out of the way, opening the net for K-Dot. It looked like a fluff shot, but that is pure outplaying by the 1v1 demigod.
Happy to bide their time, our Vitality. Could sense that Singularity were just starting to get a foothold. Didn't rush, didn't panic. Just knew that their chance would come to get their lead back. As Chippy takes it high. He's off the ceiling. Good play from him, good mechanics. Should be able to get a pinch here as well to really send Vitality back. Fairy Peak with some good boost management, though, manages to keep it, and then his teammates come into play. His Alpha from the ceiling, that one's going all the way in. Justice saves it. Fairy Peak arrives. Saved at the near post by Chippy, and Justice passes it out, and Singularity's passing defense has improved.
That pre-jump from Alpha in the midfield before it even gets to, I think it was Justice at the back who goes to the high shot instead. Alpha's already up reading it. Justice should have left the ball and reacted to what Alpha was doing, because otherwise he was completely red. If Vitality keep doing it, then no wonder this pressure is continuing. And Alpha for 1 for 2 for the third goal.
I can tell you were already gearing up to say it was going to be a goal right about now. It's like he's not missing it. That first touch, so good from Alpha. He could score those all day, but they look so clean. I've always been a massive fan of those double taps, and Alpha does them as well as pretty much anybody.
90 seconds for Singularity to attempt to claw back this game. Better than 8-1, but it's not quite a dub on the score sheet for the blue side. Polar drops it down to Justice into that right corner. Sees Fairy Peak with little boost and Justice stealing one. Oh, Singularity going to be able to hold it. That's a good touch from Chippy. Sends it across the goal line because Caleb is only as far as halfway at the time. Now Fairy Peak continuing this attack, but the double commit on Vitality. The fact that works is criminal.
No, it's not criminal. They meant it. I'm firmly on the side of they meant this. But Fairy Peak, yeah, you do a decent call there. Fairy Peak definitely has the presence of mind to predict that K-Dub's going to do a little touch and he'll be... I can see your face. You're giving me like a... But no. Fairy Peak meant that. He's a genius. A genius of the modern era.
I agree, he's a genius. Great play in the end. They do secure the goal from it. Can Chippy get a second? Not quite. Final minute sees them struggling yet again. Singularity need to change it up. We don't want 2-3-0 to start off this huge day for Europe.
Yeah, I just want to see him chucking everything at it now. They've tried the slower play against Vitality, tried to defend their way to at least a bit of territory. And Vitality, just the better players, to be quite honest, and they've managed to wrestle everything back.
Look at Alpha's dribble, going upside down, jumping thing, get back on the floor. The 50 from Chippy, but bouncing perfectly for Fairy Peak. That trust in the Vitality teammate to get it into that back position so Fairy can shoot, grants them their 5th goal. 2 for Fairy Peak, 2 for Alpha, 1 for K-Dub, and another game for Vitality overall.
I can't remember the last time we saw Vitality dominate an opponent, an RLCS level, you know, to this standard.
Yes!
An opponent that's capable of that.
Oh, that passing play from Justice to Chippy, midfield, back over to Justice. Crossbar down above both defenders, starstruck goal scoring.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful there from Singularity. 29 seconds, if they can score a quick kickoff goal here, maybe there'll be a chance for something. There's a miss from Vitality. Justice is trying to beat K-Dub, not quite able to do it, and K-Dub, all he has to do is pump it all the way forward. Should be able to win them this game, barring a monumental 50-50 challenge here from Chippy, which won't quite happen. But, I mean, there are positives that Singularity are giving themselves. Passing plays like that, the goal that they got to equalize, just little moments that are something to take into Game 3 and potentially beyond.
More of that is 100% needed, otherwise Vitality may as well call the series here. Game 2 falling their way. That's 2-0. One more and Vitality head through into the lower quarterfinals following the fate of Dignitas. Singularity, you don't want to be a second-rate K-Corp.
13 shots between Vitality there. Only 1 for K-Dub in that game after getting a hat-trick in the first one. So he at least was slowed down somewhat. But the problem was that Fairy Peak, he was having so much fun right there. That is why I believe that he went for that, you know, that quick K-Dub forced pass thing that Fairy Peak scored from. He just is darting all around the pitch. He's not as controlled as he normally is. I think Fairy Peak is playing with a freedom that we've not seen him have for a while. And perhaps that's why Team Vitality, I would say, are surprising Singularity. I think they thought they'd come up against a solid Vitality, but not one that wants to just chuck the flare at them.
I mean, Vitality are doing everything that they need to. They are being so aggressive because individually, they are better players than Singularity. If you just keep forcing 50s or those individual races to the ball, Vitality win it. They are fully aware of it, and it's something that I would really want to see Vitality continuing. If this is who we see today going through into that lower quarters and then through this competition, that is a really, really great place for them. They suffered at the start of fall where they went out in 16th place. They don't want the same fate again because they saw how arduous that path was back. The 3-0 certainly on the cards, and Singularity are dreading that scoreline. Can they get a game? Can we see more passing excellence from the Young Guns?
Meanwhile, 13 goals in 2 games for Vitality is just a glimpse into their dominance so far in this series. And they will want to start off the 3rd game in a row with a quick goal against their opponents as Alpha tries to force it the middle there. I think Polar got a really important little nibble on K-Dub that stopped that one being 1-0, but Alpha still wins it cleanly. Only to Chippy, though.
There's a brilliant bump from Polar as well. Cuts out that passing lane, intercepts it fantastically, and now passing themselves over in the Vitality half. Can Alpha get on that ball? Does bump Justice into it. So Chippy on the backboard has to outpace Fairy Peak. Doesn't manage to, but can clear it away regardless. Down the left lane, Kato with 100 boost. Leaves it for Alpha and great communication because he has that forward momentum.
I was just thinking, and there's another pinch as well, similar to their goal in the last game. I was just thinking exactly that. That is where Vitality get themselves into trouble, maybe when the series are a little bit quicker. Getting in each other's way, not being quick enough on the calls. Justus was quick with the thinking there of the floor pinch.
Brilliant play from Justus to intercept Alpha. It's flowed down from him, but staying floating with boost gives him chance and time to go for that shot. Singularity securing a lead. They need more goals than that to fight back the floodgates of 13-goal Vitality.
Yeah, I mean, he was their top goal scorer yesterday, was Justus, and you can see why. Of all the Singularity players, he is 100% the one that is making the biggest statement right now. Looking like he's going to try and drag his team into at least getting themselves a game, like they did against Team BDS. The Vitality pass it so well as well. Look at that.
Awesome play, seeing Fairy Peak get those multiple 50s, bumping Chippy as well, out for the handbrake turn, via the 100 boost, and outplaying everyone on Singularity. Chippy, no chance.
There was so much going on right there. It was Singularity's first lead of the series, and it lasted about 6 or 7 seconds, unfortunately. But they know they can get one. Here's Chippy to the skies as Kadop in front of him tries to beat him, but Kadop's clearance is absolutely massive there.
Minute 40 gone, and it's a much better game than we've seen from Singularity in this series so far. I hope they can keep it up, but Kadop shooting against 2 defenders isn't able to squeeze it through.
Poor old Chippy boostless. He's trying to do a wave dash, trying to do something just to fake that he has something in the tank, but absolutely nothing, and Vitality weren't falling for it. And look at apply the pressure now. It's Alpha. He's got 100 boost too. Puts it into the center on that occasion. Kadop to the backboard. It was read by Polar, and to be fair, the angle wasn't quite perfect. Vitality are going to try again, but Chippy's winning that, and Singularity are still winning lots of these challenges in defense. And they do manage to get it away in the end.
There's positive movement down the pitch as well, where we see Singularity move up maybe a little bit too soon, because then it means that the defense can be lacking, but they've not been punished for it in this game in particular. As Polar continues that offense on that back third of Vitality. Where's it going? Polar just goes for a very aggressive rotation, and so now it falls to Chippy to hold back the defense on the blue side of the pitch. Chippy for the double, blocked out by Kadop with only 25 boost though. Alpha's gonna have to take over. 2 minutes left with the keeper removed. Chippy to shoot, just wide. Justus turns back on it. Alpha was there to save it, but now Vitality have a chance to go around the other end and counter.
Fairy Peak has a pass in the center. It's Alpha 54 who tries to put it into the near post, and Alpha 54 succeeds.
I'm still annoyed with what Justus did. He rotated out far too soon. They had a chance to keep that attack going. Vitality taking full advantage, and now with the lead under 2 minutes gone, Singularity, they started this game with the lead. They need to wrestle it back. This is not the situation they needed themselves to be in.
All it takes is one even wrong decision, and Singularity suddenly get punished by a team of the quality of Vitality. There's still so much time left. 1 minute 40. That was rolling all the way in, is it? It's just hitting the post. Justus is coming in. He puts it into the bottom corner. It's saved by Fairy Peak. Chippy rolls it home.
That is a brilliant shot from Chippy as well. Taking that one low means that because Kadop has pre-jumped it, because he thinks it's going to be a high shot, it rolls underneath, makes him look silly. 2 all, 90 seconds, everything to be decided.
Suddenly, we have well and truly got ourselves a game. Singularity fighting back against Vitality. Not look likely at all, but Kadop's going to come forward again and put Polar under pressure. Well, his touch is just about good enough, but it's as far as Alpha, who is causing all sorts of havoc in those Singularity corners. Fairy Peak gets a couple of touches. Polar clears long, but it's exactly what Vitality would want, because here's Kadop with full boost of Fairy Peak next to him. That's a really good challenge from Chippy. Alpha's coming back. Is Chippy going to beat? And he is. But Alpha still gets the save. Up towards Justus on the backboard. It's falling downwards. And Kadop can clear.
Kadop again with that second touch. Sends it long to Polar. But then forgoes keeping the ball close. Alpha very kindly chucking it back over the fence to him. And so back with Singularity having control over this ball. 6 boost of Fairy Peak. Center pass far too high though, as Justus yet again just staying too far out of that play when he has got a man in support.
Beautiful little catch and dribble there from Fairy Peak. Defend well enough, at least for now. Alpha was hovering in that far corner again, trying to do something spicy off it, but it was blocked. Singularity just diving in, not letting Vitality get too many clear touches in the air. Having to beat them for pace. There's a passing opportunity here, actually. It's just a long shot, and Vitality can rebuild.
30 seconds and Singularity, their hearts must be a-fluttering. It's time now for this game to end one way or another. Well, do we get an overtime? Do we get one of these teams winning out on Vitality moving through the bracket? Polar with one touch into Fairy Peak, but Chippy with a great interception back onto Polar. Full central Alpha to clear it, but Polar with a dunk. Final 5 seconds. Sees the ball fly back into the blue half. Just as up, taps it down. Chance for a shot again, but out of position. Chippy central onto the floor. Overtime for the first time.
Whatever happens here is a huge improvement from Singularity, but Vitality can kill it here if that one goes all the way in. 3 seconds into the overtime, K-Dub takes the series.
Heartbreaking end as Singularity barely got to play with the ball. Vitality sink a knife into it, pop it, game time is over, head back to class. You need to learn for the next time. Vitality, a 3-0 sweep, first 2 games much cleaner. You basically can't argue, though, with an 8-2 or an 8-1, a 5-2, and then finally a 3-2 overtime. It got better. A best of 7, I still don't think could have saved Singularity, but a lot to learn and take from this tournament.
Yeah, so much to take from it. You know, this is the team that have been trying just to get back to this point since the end of RLCS X. They've finally done it, and they got themselves into the knockout. You know, they got themselves to the bracket, which is exactly what you want to do when you're in your group. Singularity going above and beyond expectations, taking some games along the way, winning some series along the way. Not quite enough against Team Vitality, but each and every game they did that little bit better, and that is a massive positive for them.
I mean, they've also now got themselves 160 points. That is a massive position for them to be in. They got out of groups. They didn't just end on 60, as a lot of us assumed they were going to. They did a brilliant job of getting here, beating Misfits, and getting 100 more than anticipated. They also walk away with a nice chunk of change with it. After the break, the Awesome Desk are going to be going through the results of the previous series with K-Corp and Dignitas, as well as reviewing what just happened in Singularity Vitality.